Mus'ab's role was to do two things. Number one, make them Muslim. Number two, make them be willing to accept Rasulullah in Medina. Imagine how hard that task is. Especially with Arabs with a short temper. Mus'ab came, As'ad ibn Zurara said, come with me, let's meet Sa'ad ibn Mu'adh. As soon as they entered upon Sa'ad ibn Mu'adh at that moment said, As'ad, who's that man? He said, Mus'ab bin Umair. He said, what's he doing here? He said, he's come to bring the religion of Islam. You brought someone from Muhammad's lot to Medina? You want to bring Muhammad's religion to Medina? He left and he went to that Usaid ibn Hafir. He said to him, oh Usaid, if it wasn't for the fact that As'ad ibn Zurara is my auntie's son, I would have killed him there and then. I want you to go and stop this Mus'ab bin Umair and never allow him back here again. At that moment Usaid said, don't worry, leave it to me. Usaid entered to try and kill Mus'ab bin Umair. When he entered, Mus'ab saw him. As soon as he saw him, he knew it was a hot situation which needed cooling. You know what Mus'ab said? He said to him, oh Usaid, do me one favor. Before you act any act, come sit next to me. So he came to sit next to him. He said to him, oh Usaid, let me tell you about the words of the Quran. And he began reciting the Quran in a melodious voice. Look at the youth of Islam at the beginning. They had memorized this book. Every verse that came, they would memorize it. He began to recite the verses. Do you know what the reply was? The reply that came from Usaid, he said, I have never heard words as beautiful as the words of the Quran. Nor have I heard a voice as beautiful as the voice of Mus'ab bin Umair. At that moment he said, I will become a Muslim. But Sa'ad is going to be a bit harder. Mus'ab said, don't worry. Just let him enter. As soon as I see him enter, I will recite the Quran in a way which will reach his heart straight away. Usaid went back to Sa'ad. He said to him, Sa'ad, you have to go towards the house. Sa'ad said, why? He said, because there's a problem happening in the house, you have to sort out. Sa'ad ran into the house. As soon as he ran in, Mus'ab began with the recital of the Quran. When Mus'ab began reciting the Quran in the voice, Sa'ad ibn Mu'adh started crying at that moment. He said, I promise I have never heard words like the words which Muhammad has brought to you. Me and the whole tribe will come towards the religion of Rasulullah. And they all came towards the religion, and then it came towards the first salah in Medina. When it came towards the first salah in Medina, what happened? The Aus had a leader who they wanted to lead. The Khazraj had a leader they wanted him to lead. The people said, forget fighting with each other, let Mus'ab ibn Umair lead our salah. This Mus'ab ibn Umair was the first man to lead Salat al-Jama'ah in Medina. And this man fought in the Battle of Badr, and he was the man who was the cause of the chaos at Uhud. Why? Mus'ab ibn Umair used to look like Rasulullah. Very similar features. When he got killed in Uhud, people raised the cry, Muhammad is dead. Whereas Amir al-Mu'mineen replied, but the religion of Allah is still alive. There were people who ran away at that moment because Mus'ab had died. Yet you found here on the first level, the first youth who had built this religion, Mus'ab bin Umair. The second one was the first to lead Salat al-Jama'ah in Mecca when Mecca was opened, by the name of Itab ibn Usayd, 21-year-old Sahabi of Rasulullah. How old? 21. Do you know this man, when he became governor of Mecca, do you know how many of the older companions of Rasulullah, you know who it is very well, became angry straight away as soon as they heard a 21-year-old is the governor? Because Rasulullah announced, when he opened Mecca in the 8th year of Hijrah, he announced by saying that we are going to leave Mecca. We are going to fight in the Battle of Hunayn. In the Battle of Hunayn, he said that now that I am leaving Mecca, he left with an army of 12,000 soldiers. Hunayn had two tribes, Banu Thaqif and Banu Hawazin. Thaqif and Hawazin were the grandparents of Ali al-Akbar from his mother's side, Layla. These two tribes were the only two Arab tribes who had not submitted to Islam when Rasulullah entered Mecca. The others had submitted. These two said, we will not submit. If Muhammad wants to fight us, we will fight him. And that battle of Hunayn, I ask each and every one of you to read it. Our fourth Imam in his khutbah in Sham says, I am the son of the man. When he talks about Amir al-Mu'mineen, he says, I am the son of the man who fought with 2 swords and with 2 spears and went on 2 migrations and pledged 2 allegiances. I am the son of the man who fought at Badr and Uhud and Hunayn. Why not Khandaq? Why not Khaybar? Why Hunayn? Because the greatest ever achievement of Ali ibn Abi Talib was in that battle, Hunayn. Were it not for Ali ibn Abi Talib in the battle of Hunayn, there would be no religion of Islam. You know why? Because Rasulullah went with an army of 12,000 soldiers. The opposition had 4,000. Rasulullah said, do not be arrogant. When we used to be a small army, we would defeat that bigger army in Badr and Uhud because we were humble. Don't approach this battle in an arrogant manner because we have more than them. Especially, he said to the two commanders, Khalid ibn Walid and Ali ibn Abi Talib. He said to Khalid, don't be arrogant because Hunayn, the soldiers at Hunayn of the opposition have two warriors, nobody comes there. Who? Malik ibn Auf al-Nasri and Uthman bin Abdullah. These two, nobody could come near them. These two, although they led only 4,000 against an army of 12,000, you know what they said to each other? They said, listen, they said to the rest of their army, leave those 12,000 to us. Because when us two are in a battle, nobody can get past us. The only person we need to surround is Ali ibn Abi Talib. If us two surround him, we'll finish him. Other than that, the rest are nothing. We'll finish. Imagine the confidence of these two warriors. So what they did, Rasulullah said to the soldiers, don't be arrogant. Before Rasulullah set off, he said, I'm leaving a governor behind, because a prophet of God never leaves a city without leaving a successor. So he left the governor behind by the name of Atab ibn Usaid, a 21-year-old. People said, Atab? He's only 21. He said, it doesn't matter. It's not about age. It's about who has the know-how to look after Mecca after me. And there is nobody after me from the soldiers who haven't gone like Atab ibn Usaid who can look after Mecca. He left this 21-year-old in charge of Mecca. He went towards Hunayn. The battle began. Do you know what Malik bin Auf and Uthman did? Those two soldiers, they made Khalid bin Walid lead the army in an alleyway between a mountain which he couldn't get out of. Khalid bin Walid fell in their trap. As soon as he fell in their trap, they jumped with their soldiers coming down the mountains with their horses. They began to attack the Muslim soldiers. I'm going to tell you why this story is important when we come to Usama, the 18-year-old. Let me explain. Because as soon as they came down, 12,000 Muslim soldiers saw these people coming down. Do you know what the hadith say? How many remained? 8. You've been with Rasulullah now for 20 years. It's the 8th year of Hijrah. And still you are running away? 12,000, 8 remain behind. Do you know who was at the head of those 8? Amir al-Mu'mineen. And do you know who was with him? I can name the names, and I've discussed this in past lectures, but the first person who stood alongside him was a 15-year-old by the name of Usama. You will add the two together later. A 15-year-old. You know what Ali ibn Abi Talib said to him? Remain with me, and I promise you we'll finish them. But don't leave me. Just surround me, I'll finish them. Do you know what one English historian has written about the incident? She said, Ali ibn Abi Talib on the day of Hunayn was like a demon possessed. The way he went through that battlefield by himself and 7 other soldiers was testimony to the devotion of this man to the religion of Islam. He went through, as the narration says, once he had finished the leaders of the opposition, the rest of those people at Hunayn ran away from the battle. When he was victorious, the rest of the Muslims then came back to the battle.